The official version versus the truth now. Let's pause here for a second. Because if you ask the officials at Redwater, or the State Department in charge, about Officer Cole, you would get a very different picture. On paper, he was highly rated by supervisors, frequently praised for handling difficult inmates involved in multiple, successful, contraband searches. Even Ortega's death was written up cleanly. Unfortunate event. No foul play suspected. No evidence of staff misconduct. But inside Echo Block, Marcus was seeing something else, a pattern of inmates who challenged staff ending up in Echo contraband, found in cells with suspicious timing. Ortega's old cell left empty and Cole always being nearby when things went bad. To be fair, not everything could be pinned on one officer. But in prison, power is rarely balanced. And when one person controls the doors, the searches, and the movement, they don't need to be guilty of everything to be involved in enough. Marcus made a choice. He was going to do what Ortega didn't get to finish. He was going to build a record. Over the next month, Marcus started collecting information in the only ways available to him, memorizing details from conversations, writing tiny, coded notes on legal pad pages, logging dates and names in forms that looked innocent on the surface. He tracked who went to Echo, why they were supposedly sent, what happened to them afterward, and the more he wrote, the more one thing kept bothering him. In every single situation where someone claimed staff intimidation, staff retaliation, or suspected planted contraband, Cole's name appeared somewhere on the paperwork. He wasn't always the one writing the report. Sometimes he was just present. Sometimes he was listed as assisting. Sometimes his name only showed up in small print at the bottom. Always there. But if he had this much influence, how was Marcus going to expose it, from inside Echo? That's where something happened that nobody expected, an inspection. Random inspections happen in prisons, but this one felt different. Word spread that a state oversight committee was coming through Redwater. Not just to count heads or look at maintenance issues, but to review conditions, including administrative segregation. That meant Echo. For guys in Echo Block, inspections are a rare opportunity. It's risky to talk, but sometimes it's the only time an outside set of eyes gets anywhere near them. Marcus knew this wasn't a guarantee of justice. Oversight can be surface level. People clean up, tell half-truths, and everybody goes home. But he also knew, if he didn't say something now, he might never get another chance. The morning the committee arrived, things changed. Fresh paint over peeling areas. Officers crisp in uniform. Inmates told to behave or lose privileges. Cole was on shift. He walked the tier slower than usual, eyes sharp, voice quieter. He stopped at Marcus's cell. "Inspection today," Cole said casually. "If you're smart, you keep it simple. This block's got a reputation. Don't make it worse." Marcus met his gaze and saw the warning behind the smile. "I don't plan on lying," Marcus replied. Cole shrugged. "Truth's just a matter of paperwork," he said. "Remember that." When Cole walked away, Marcus's heart was pounding. But his mind was set. When it was Marcus's turn, two people stopped at his cell, a woman in a suit with a clipboard, a man with a lanyard from the State Department. A sergeant opened the door, leaving it halfway closed, but not fully. "Any issues you'd like to raise about conditions?" the woman asked. Her tone was professional, but there was a hint of real curiosity. Marcus took a breath. "Yes, ma'am." The sergeant shifted his weight. Someone else's shadow moved behind him in the hallway. Marcus continued anyway. "I believe there is a pattern of retaliation in this block," he said. "I think certain inmates are being targeted for speaking up. And I think one officer in particular is involved." It got quiet. The woman glanced briefly at the sergeant, then back at Marcus. "Do you have anything specific? Names? Dates?" she asked. Marcus nodded. "I do. On paper. But if I give it openly, it'll disappear." That was the moment. If she brushed him off, that would be the end. Just another inmate complaint. Instead, she did something else. Pass it discreetly, she said. We log everything we receive. Marcus took a chance. He pulled out a folded legal document, the one he had layered with notations and codes about Ortega, about other inmates, about Cole. He placed it calmly on the edge of the small metal desk near the door. The woman took it. She didn't react, didn't make a face. Just slipped it into her folder, scribbled something, and moved to the next cell. The whole interaction lasted less than 2 minutes. But to Marcus, it felt like the start of something huge. He just didn't realize how fast things would move. Within 24 hours, the atmosphere shifted again. Echo Block went into a security review. Extra searches. Extra questions. Marcus's cell got tossed twice in one day. His mattress was flipped, his books checked, his minimal personal items inspected. Nothing was found, because he had nothing left to hide. It was all on that folded paper now, somewhere in an oversight file. The only thing they couldn't search was what was in his head. That night, Cole returned to his door. You had a lot to say today, Cole said softly. You think those people care about your little theories? Marcus held his gaze. I think facts matter, he replied. Cole's jaw tightened. Just for a split second. Let me give you some facts, Cole said. Staff come and go. Committees come and go. The only thing that stays the same in here are the walls. He leaned closer. And walls don't take your side. Then he walked away. That was the last time Marcus saw Cole on the tier. Weeks went by. For most inmates, inspections are a storm that passes. Things go back to normal. Old patterns return. But this time, something stayed different. An internal rumor started quietly: Cole was under review. Guards whispered in corners. Supervisors avoided certain conversations. One day, a lieutenant came through Echo and collected copies of shift logs from the last year, focusing heavily on nights when Ortega and others had incidents. Nobody told the inmates what was going on. They rarely do. But they didn't need the memo. They saw the change. Cole stopped appearing on their unit. His name wiped off the duty board. A new officer rotated in. He was quieter. He kept his distance. Marcus didn't celebrate. He didn't trust it yet. But then something happened that made it real. In the library, while signing out a new legal book, he overheard 2 staff members talking, low, but not low enough. External investigators, phone records, movement logs, administrative leave, one of them said. One name was mentioned. Cole. It took months. It took testimony, pulled camera footage, interviews with staff and inmates. They never released all the details to the public. But inside, word leaked that Cole's handling of inmates in Echo was under serious question. Ortega's death was being re-examined. At least 2 other incidents were flagged as potential misconduct. Was he arrested? No. Was he convicted? No public record of that. But one day, years later, an inmate who'd transferred out of Redwater sent a letter back. Cole's gone, it said. Can't say why. But he's not in the system anymore. You might think the story ends with Cole being investigated and removed. It doesn't. Because the real twist in this story is not about a single officer. It's about Marcus. He didn't become a hero. He didn't suddenly get his sentence reduced. He didn't get a movie deal or an apology. He finished his time. He got out. Got a small job. Kept his head low. Tried to build a life on the outside. But there's something you need to know. Years after leaving Redwater, Marcus walked into a cheap community center computer lab and opened an email account. He started writing. He wrote down everything: What he saw, what he heard, what he suspected, what happened to Ortega, what happened after the oversight committee came. He sent it to a journalist who specialized in criminal justice and corrections. He didn't expect a reply. But he got one. Over the next year, that journalist quietly pulled public records, personnel files, death reports, oversight committee notes. They found that Ortega's original death report had been updated. Echo Block's policies were revised shortly after the inspection, and Cole's employment history just stopped. No explanation. No press release. Just an open space where one man used to be. The journalist published a long piece, name slightly changed, identifying details adjusted, but the core facts intact. It didn't go viral. It didn't dominate the news cycle. But it existed. A permanent record. A story the system couldn't fully erase. And one line stood out, right near the end. In the end, it wasn't a riot or a dramatic breakout that exposed Echo Block. It was a man with nothing left to lose choosing to write, instead of staying silent. So what actually happened in Echo Block? Did Cole directly cause Ortega's death? Did he intentionally plant contraband on outspoken inmates? Did he orchestrate every bad thing that happened there? We don't have clear, public, legal proof of all that. What we have is patterns, testimony. An officer quietly removed a unit, quietly adjusted, and a system that changed just enough to admit something was wrong, without fully saying it out loud. And we have one more thing, Marcus's choice. He could have done what most people do, stay quiet, survive, forget. Instead, he watched, took notes, spoke up when oversight finally came, and later, when the system tried to move on, he wrote it down again. That's the part of this crime story that matters the most. Because this isn't just about a bad officer or a suspicious death. It's about how hidden crimes inside institutions can live or die based on whether one person decides to stay silent, or to speak. So what do you think really happened inside Echo Block? Was Ortega's death a tragic coincidence, or part of something darker? Was Cole a lone bad actor, or just one piece of a bigger system problem? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you watched till the end, type Echo Block so I know you're one of the real ones. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want more deep dive prison stories like this, stories that don't make the headlines, but definitely should.